All right, item 4, hearing and actions on these, there are none. We'll skip that. Statements and remarks from citizens on any agenda items 6 through 13. So folks, if you've got any comment or would like to make a statement on any of the items 6 through 13. Not going to linger long. All right. Then the next item is to consider reappointment of Lynn Hicks to the Board of Assessors, and I'll ask Robin if there's anything that you would like to say or present, or just want to take a vote on that.
Yeah, take a vote.
Okay. So the item is to consider Lynn as currently assigned, and they're looking to reappoint to the Board of Assessors. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion we reappoint Lynn Hicks to the Board of Assessors.
I have a motion to reappoint. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes. I do.
All right.
As usual, I don't have any problem reappointing Mr. Hicks, but I would like, once again, this will be my 7th year straight asking for District 5 to have a member appointed to that board. Should be a 5-member board. The people on this board realize that is the most important board in this county. In some cases, more important than these 5 up here, because that's where the money comes out of people's pockets.
Right. So the current composition, and Robin, you may have to help me out on this as far as you're talking about a resident from District 5.
That I appoint.
Or that you appoint.
And there's another one. I don't know who else has got one.
Well, there'll be 2 more that don't have one, I guess.
Now, how many work on the board? Now, we're talking about the bank's assessor board. How many members, citizen members do we have on that board, Ron?
3 members.
That's 3.
So we have 5 districts.
Right.
So there's got to be somebody else up here to the board that hasn't got an appointee on that.
So your question is basically to add members to that board. Is that what you're?
I've been asking for 7 years, and I'm asking again.
All right. Well, I tell you what, I'll have to take that up as a separate issue, separate item, and if the board wants to reconsider that, then we'll do so. I have to go back to the bylaws and see.
Used to be 5 members on that board, and seriously, we all got people on planning and zoning. We all got people here young and that. That is the most important board in this whole county. That's where the buck stops, and it needs to be representative of the whole county.
Well, certainly.
I'm just asking once again.
Okay.
I agree with Commissioner Eastgill. There's so many complaints and so much wrong and so many discrepancies in the evaluations. And I've asked for an audit 2 or 3 times and no cooperation with that. So I think something needs to be done. That things are not right on either board. And I know somebody's going to get mad about it, but it's all right with me. But things are just not right. There's too many discrepancies, too much wrong down there for it to go like it is.
Well, so the item tonight though is just to reappoint Lynn Hicks for the consideration to add members to the board. Need be, we can revisit.
Let's just do that on this side, and then on the urgent matters, I got something else I need to take up with you.
Is it something that cannot wait till the next meeting?
I don't want to wait till the next meeting.
By our bylaws though, it's supposed to actually be something that cannot wait. It couldn't have been foreseen for this meeting. I know we've entertained items, but typically we end up unprepared if we're not,
Just go ahead and I'll put it on the agenda for next meeting.
All right.
It's going to be a lot worse if I do it that way.
All right, so I have a motion and a second to reappoint Lynn Hicks to the Board of Assessors. Any further discussion on that? Commissioner Strickland?
Yes.
Yes.
Lynn's a good friend of mine, and I hate to do it, but I think there needs to be some changes. I'm going to vote no.
Yes. Yes.
All right. You each have a copy of the businesses that applied for a beer and wine license. What we'll do tonight is we're going to consider approving those that are listed there. You see 13 renewals and 3 new applicants. So I'll take a motion. The motion will be to, if you want to have discussion or whatever, we can have that, but the motion would be to approve. If you want to make a motion that we approve all, some, none, make that in the form of the motion, please.
Can I make a motion to just call out numbers rather than names?
Okay.
That be appropriate?
That'd be fine, as long as we can identify it.
All right, I make a motion to approve number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, and then the new applicants, 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Let me make sure I have that, Commissioner Easco. On the renewals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 13. And on the new 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Can I ask you something? What is the address to? Number 11.
I can get it.
Some of these have multiple names. The reason I'm asking.
Give her a minute to retrieve that and I'll come back to this.
We'll have discussion after we haven't given a second, correct? Before we
Right, since he's made the motion for those, and then we can have discussion and then we'll vote.
Because we have a couple of quick fix, we have a couple of food marts, right? We had one that's a quick fix, now it's a food mart. Am I right? So we need to know which one's which.
Number 11 is 7066 Highway 72 West Culver.
That's not it. That's not the one I'm looking at. Has the name changed on number 3 on new applicants?
Yes.
Well, then that's the one I need to leave off and add 11 to my motion.
So you'd like to amend the motion?
Number 3 and number 11 is one.
Not 11.
Are you amending the motion?
Include 11 and leave number 3 and new applicants off.
Okay.
So I understand we've got 1 through 13 of the renewal applicants and then 1 and 2 for the new applicants, is that correct?
Right.
Mr. Chairman, who's number 3?
Number 3 is listed as Food Mart, 9029 Highway 29 South, Hull.
Is that the one there at Eagles you were talking about?
That's correct. So I have a motion.
Second.
And I have a second. Any further discussion on these? All right, the vote goes to Commissioner Bettis.
Yes.
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 So I have 1 through 13, and the only one that was excluded from the list of applicants was Food Mart on 9029 Highway 29 South in Hull.
Mr. Chairman, I'm here representing that business. I would like to ask that the reasons for that application not being submitted to be addressed as required by your ordinance. I'm not aware of any problems or irregularities or illegalities in the application.
Mr. Chairman, we need action on that application, and then the board can then comment if you want, but you haven't done anything with those
That one.
yet.
Okay. So what we have is we've approved those listed, the first, basically 15 on the document you have. So we'll need to take a motion then to deny, as I understand it, if that's your will, to deny the applicant, for Food Mart, as they're listed here.
Then I'll make the motion to deny Food Mart.
I have a motion to deny.
Second. That's number 3 on the, 2 food marts.
That's right. 2 Food Marts. Yeah, this is, the location, 9029, Highway 29 South. So I have a motion and I have a second to deny the application. Is there any discussion on that?
Mr. Chairman, I request that a reason for the denial be stated for the record.
I don't know that has to be addressed here. I think that comes in the form of a notification following this vote.
I respectfully disagree under the due process rights of the U.S. Constitution. If you deny an application without giving that application or applicant a right to address why they're being denied. There's been personal enmity between certain members and members of the board and the landlord of this business, but the landlord is not the applicant for the beer and wine.
So I'll look for kind of a determination from our county attorney, and if need be, we can do that if it's required.
The letter of the laws, as the chairman said, it's the reasons have to be stated in the notice. To take the issue off the table, it wouldn't hurt to state a reason or reasons in the motion, and then that can be explained further in the notice.
Would those who have voted in favor of denying or who have voted to deny that application state, would any of the commissioners wish to state their reason or their concern for the denial?
Clearly a pass-through business, $72,000 worth of rent a year for a bill that's not worth that. I mean, that's a reason. You won't, we got it.
I do. The value of the building doesn't have anything to do with the value of the business contained within it.
Right, but a man can't make money when he's paying $6,000 worth of rent for a gas station.
Can I ask a question? Ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The last lease from Paul Jackson to Mr., I guess it was Amir Ifran Hamid.
Irfan Hamid, that is
Is that correct? Okay. Was there an extension of Amir's lease?
His lease continues through this year.
Right. So,
There is a new lease for the applicant of this application, so we'll be taking the business over January 1st.
Why is he taking that business over? What happened to the last guy?
that was my next question. What was the ground, if you don't mind saying it?
Mr. Hamid no longer wishes to be in the convenience store business.
Is Mr. Hamid facing charges?
I believe he has been charged. I was under understanding too that Phil Jackson having inventory and a business itself, wasn't all that sold to Amir back in 2012?
Correct. And that is now, the inventory is being sold to H.H. Armando, LLC. Vanessa Hernandez, whose legal name is Zaira Hernandez Duarte, is the owner of H.H. Armando, LLC. She is here tonight.
Who was the seller, though?
The seller, well, the lease is from Paul Jackson, LLC. The business sale and the sale of the inventory is from Amir, Inc., who holds the current beer and wine license and is under a current lease.
So we have a couple of items or a couple of reasons presented that basically express concern with the perhaps the intent. I believe our ordinance calls for the, just the appearance perhaps of a surrogate business, I think is the way I'm reading this. And again, all of that can be spelled out in greater detail in the denial, and then I understand there's a certain time to appeal that.
That's exactly right. So the denial letter will go out, if the applicant wishes to appeal, they can, and of course, they will address those reasons that are put in the letter, and that's the due process. So it doesn't have to be heard and argued here tonight.
I respectfully disagree.
Well, as the chair, I'm going to go ahead and close that item out respectfully, because I think the process has been met. We'll have a vote here to officially, this was part of the discussion, but we're going to vote now to actually deny that.
What is your basis for appearance of inadequate supervisory participation?
Mr. Chairman, if you want to entertain an argument tonight, I suppose that's the board's prerogative, but again, there's a process, and clearly in the ordinance as I read it, maybe Mr. Johnson reads it differently, the appeal comes later.
But you have to have grounds for denial first.
So the denial can be as simple as was stated, though. That was their reason. That was the reasons given for that. Whether they seem thorough or complete, they've made that known that you heard the two items that at least the two that I heard that were mentioned.
They seem completely hollow. I haven't heard anything of a surrogacy.
A hollow answer is an answer, though. I don't argue that. So I would probably choose to wait and make the notification, and then we'll have the appeal.
The ordinance says the burden is on the applicant to provide reasonably convincing evidence that this requirement has been met. Doesn't the applicant have the right to provide that before the denial is issued?
I don't think our ordinance.
And the application process required or calls for all that at this point. The board has all the documentation in front of it. If the applicant feels that has been done in error, then there's an appeal process. You don't have to argue it tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I call for a vote.
All right. So the vote is to deny the permit, to get the address correct here. Food Mart on 9029 Highway 29 South in Hall. The vote goes to Commissioner Heffel.
I vote to deny.
Deny?
Yes or no?
Yes.
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 There you go. That's. The next item on the list is, our agenda item is to consider changes to the Fire Protection Emergency Rescue Services Agreement. This is an annual agreement, if you will, that is entered into by those volunteer Fire Protection Emergency Rescue Services in Madison County. Each of you has a copy of that. To facilitate those changes, I might point out that, of course, this contract would, this contract will commence January the 1st. A couple of changes were House Bill 146 mandated a cancer insurance coverage for all members of the fire departments, volunteer or paid. So that provision is in here, and the board did make a provision for that in our budget as well. And really, as far as any other substantive, we have mentioned the automatic, and it escaped me, what was that called before?
Mutual.
Mutual. So there's automatic aid versus mutual aid. Again, nothing substantially changed in the content of that language, though. So what we'll be looking for tonight is a vote to approve this contract or this agreement. We will then sign it and present it to the fire chiefs, and upon their signature on January 1st, it'll go into effect. Motion to approve, Chair. I have a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a second. Are there any questions on this?
Rhonda, all departments reporting their expenditures and
They have to be.
Any
Have to do.
Well, I mean, they're required
And the other tenet of that was they all have to unanimously agree upon whatever plan they use for the dispersal of funds to.
You're right.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments or discussion?
one more. Are they required to report donations also?
No.
They're not required to.
They're required to show the disbursement of the funds that they received from us.
No fundraisers or donations are required.
They do oftentimes provide that, they're not required.
I know they have it, if you ask them one time.
Okay, so the motion is to approve. Any other comments or questions?
No, sir.
Commissioner Easko?
Yes.
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 All right. Next item, these are somewhat housekeeping items towards the end of the year. Setting the schedule, meetings, and things for the next coming year. So the next item is to consider dates for the 2018 Board of Commissioners meetings, and you all have a copy of that in front of you. And when ready, take a motion to approve those dates as presented.
Motion to approve, Jim.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a second. Any questions or any comments on those?
I do understand the national championship is on the 8th. I do understand that, but.
Good.
We're gonna go at 4:19.
It's okay.
I think it's later. I just tried to look it up.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? Motion is to approve the 2018 Board of Commissioner meeting dates. Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
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 All right. Next item is, I understand it's not a new item, is to consider a start time of 6 p.m. for the Board of Commissioners meeting. And that would have to be, the reason that you see it listed to be effective January 29th is because the Planning and Zoning Board have already put out notices and notifications for rezone hearings, and to honor those and keep them from having to re-advertise and to drag that out, we would have to meet at the scheduled time of 6:30 for that first meeting in January.
Mike can come back to here at 6.
Yeah, 6 is actually better for me. Everything else I have does mean 6.
So, do it.
Make special contact with these people in January. I'll call them. Okay, sorry.
That's all right, that's all right. So I have, looking for a motion to approve the 6 p.m. start time for our Board of Commissioners meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion on that?
Mr. Chairman, I've had several comments on this. People are telling me they get off at 5 o'clock. If we start at 6 o'clock, it won't give them time to go home and eat their meal and get back by starting time. So I would prefer to leave it at 6:30 for the people. I could meet at 2 o'clock, wouldn't matter to me, but the citizens would like it to stay at 6:30.
Okay.
I've heard it both ways. I've had, my constituents I've talked to, some of them want it early, some of them want it later, actually. Some of them says 7. I know other counties across our little region here, they do it all over, you know, from 5 to 7, you know, they do it all over the place. You know, this isn't something that, I just expect this is something that, you know, we put a sunshine or sunset clause on this thing, you know, kind of, if people can't get here and that kind of stuff, we can always change this, can't we? But I'm pretty sure I've seen them in the past, they change it and then turn it back and do it the other way, so.
The people I talked to are fine with 6.
Just to give some insight from other districts, so.
I think there are 9, is there 9 surrounding counties, I believe, and I believe 6 of them meet at 6 or earlier. Is that correct? Is that the information you have? So I mean, it's not, I guess what I'm saying is we're not out of mainstream, but, point noted though, I appreciate some people have different schedules, so. Any other discussion or comments on that? Commissioner, the vote is to change, and that vote goes to Commissioner Bettis.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 All right, the next item is to consider 2018 holiday dates. You have a copy of that in front of you. From this year's schedule to the proposed, or what you have in front of you, there are basically two changes to that. After receiving sufficient or a number of calls and questions, it's for your consideration, but we've got Martin Luther King Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is Monday, January 15th. Our schools recognize that as well. And then the other one that is probably just on there for a year would be the New Year's Eve, the last one listed there, New Year's Eve, which is Monday. Because it does fall on a Monday, everybody, the Tuesday, that observe Tuesday is a holiday. Most other, again, municipalities and governments are shut down that day as well, so that's the reason that's on there. I'll entertain a
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Second. I have a second. Discussion on those days or anything there.
Does this line up with, you mentioned the school system, is this now pretty much every holiday that the school system recognizes, other than breaks?
No, they'll do,
I think Columbus Day.
right, they pick and choose, and I think they do that a lot of times, but in many cases, they.
No.
There's just some that, and you probably best ask, Teresa, which one of those,
Veterans Day, maybe?
yeah.
Veterans Day, we don't get off.
They don't observe Veterans Day at school, that's right. That's right.
We do get the whole week of Thanksgiving though.
So there was,
Pretty consistent, I mean, other than that, and we're out by Memorial Day. Although one year we did have to work.
It was tough to sometimes find childcare.
Well, looks like they'll have childcare to take care of it on the November 12th. And
again, like I said, the last one listed there is really, that's not necessarily an ongoing thing, it just happens to be on Monday this coming
I
year.
think that's fair,
So,
yeah. Very fair.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this one? Okay. So the motion is to approve the date for 2018 holidays. Vote is to Commissioner Bethel.
Yes.
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 All right. Next item is to consider selecting a 2018 vice chairman.
I make a motion to nominate Commissioner Lee Allen.
I have a motion to nominate Commissioner Lee Allen.
Second.
And I have a second. Any questions, any discussion on that?
Silence is acceptance.
That's what I was told last time. It would be an honor.
Now, a motion and a second to select Commissioner Allen as the 2018 Vice Chairman. Moves to Commissioner Easko.
Yes.
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 Last, new business agenda item is to consider amending donated sick leave policy. At the beginning of this year, we, as a board, revised a number of policies and across the board in many of our county, what do we call them, policies or ordinances, we tried to unify them and make them more consistent. There existed, prior to this year, a provision with respect to donated sick leave policy that, well, I'll read you what existed before the current policy. An employee may use no more than 120 hours of donated sick leave within a calendar year. Okay. That was the previous. Our current basically eliminated that sentence, and everything else remained the same. So, over time, we came to realize that without that provision in there, you could end up with a circumstance where you have somebody who's perhaps legitimately in need of additional sick leave, and that provision was clearly available then. Right now it's uncapped. Totally inadvertent, I think the discussion last time was, perhaps we weren't really, I think in the truest humanitarian way, we were willing it sometimes to go beyond that time. Certainly nothing wrong with the thought behind that. The reality is the county is left with a vacant position and no money to pay for a replacement position. If there is no provision to turn that off, the hope is that for those items that are truly sick leave nature, whether it's surgery, whether it's an injury, the hope is that the 120 hours would be enough time for them to recoup and get back. So what we have now is we do not have any cap. The rationale was to try to put just that piece back in to address that issue, though. So that's why it's listed on the agenda under consideration. And the motion would be to consider amending our current, and this is our personnel, the personnel section, and it's just to include that line exactly as I read it to you, just exactly as it was before. An employee may use no more than 120 hours of donated sick leave. You can, if you choose to leave it within a calendar year, or if you choose to tie it to a circumstance, an event that causes that sick leave. Your option on the wording, but I think we need to address putting a cap back in there.
I would make the motion that be tied to per year, per sickness. Because they could be sick multiple times in a year, or they could have a sickness that lasts multiple years. Correct?
Right. And that is the thing is
We usually get them. I think the sheriff's office, where they have run a check. No, all of them. Yeah. That's what it says. My first in November.
Where do you see the
We usually get a 32 decrease. Your portion of sheriff on on, especially the new outreaches, where they've applied for beer and wine license.
Ask it again. I don't want to ask Ron. I know what you're asking, but I think she's got.
The sheriff has the applications or.
He does the background check on the applicant.
He did a background
They all
check.
came back good.
They can't expect
He was giving them a whole on Jack Ray, that's Lily's friend. He's here for
What about the civic? Might give it back to them. That's why you're pushing this no party affiliation thing, 'cause you can't feel like a cross.
Sorry, I ran just late today.
Mike, that's too funny, because when they cross the road.
Yeah, after I looked at it, I thought, this is easy, I'll do it myself, I've already done it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Traffic though.
Yeah. That was it. Yeah, 1 minute is fast. Oh, thank you. Yeah, not at all. I just think it's Go dogs. That one, yeah. Oh, yeah. On Yeah, that's where I started out.
several things in there.
We were Russell Adams and Estelle. Yeah.
All right. We have a quorum, and looks like the hands up where it's supposed to be, so we're going to call the meeting to order. And I'll ask you to check your phones very quickly, just check the ringer off first. And we'll stand for the pledge of allegiance, and a moment later we'll get started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father, we come to you tonight asking for your blessings and giving thanks, Lord, this special time of the year as we approach the Christmas season. May we remember and keep the spirit of the season at heart as opportunities are presented. Lord, we pray, Lord, that we'll help those who are in need, and that for those families that are going through a difficult time, I pray especially for one of our county employees, Robbie Anglin, and his family tonight as they face difficult times ahead. Guard our efforts and guide them as we undertake the business tonight, and anything that we accomplish, Lord, we pray that it'll all be to your glory and in your name. Amen. All right. First up is the approval of the November 27th meeting minutes. So if you had a chance or when you're ready, I'll take a motion on that. Motion to approve, Chair.
Second.
I have a motion to approve and a second. Are there any questions or discussion on those minutes? none. Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
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 Yes. Excuse me. Wondering.
Business involving guest groups or multiple visitors. If we had anything scheduled tonight. As far as the chairman's report, tomorrow, December 5th, will mark the 206th year that Madison County was formed. So happy birthday, Madison County. Commissioner Allen will be celebrating this at our nation's capital tomorrow. Tomorrow. The only other item I had that I was going to at least bring the board up to date on is we have requirements with respect to EPD. We have a stormwater management plan and an annual report that we normally put out, and then we have a requirement to monitor and inspect certain areas. And those areas are defined as the urbanized area, which for the most part is the lower portion, and it's really driven by that area's population. And I met with Catherine Fox. She is the owner proprietor of Fox LLC, and she is leading the effort on this. And this was right now we switched from Triple Point, who was our who we contracted with the last couple of years, and so we're working with Catherine now, and we have a fair amount of work to do, but I think we'll be able to get it done. I think in the past, the board has had the discretion, if the amount exceeded 120 hours to come back and ask for it, but it had to come before the board for the approval to do that. So, again, I would still think that we'd want to make sure that we're not, I don't want to tie the county's hands, basically, is really what's behind this, is we had a circumstance this calendar year with an individual that was unable to return to work physically, was not medically cleared to come return to work, but we couldn't hire somebody in their place, and because of the donated sick leave. And as it turns out, we ended up entering into a contract on top of using that sick leave, so we were almost double paying that. And that's something I don't see that as very sustainable.
You're going to have to write the resolution.
Yeah. Well, and if we just amend this on that later, I don't know if you're required, if all we did was change that line, and you correct me if I'm misstating here. This is the way it's written currently, it's our situation as opposed to the end. This was last year's highlighted portion. I just think we need to have some language that goes back in there and caps them.
Yeah, so if you say it within a calendar year, I think that's clear. If you want to make it, if you want to afford more possible leave than that, you could say for any single illness or injury. And then that would raise the possibility you could have multiple 120-hour leaves within the same calendar year.
I would probably or suggest you keep it
Per
calendar year in that case then. And again, I mean, it's something, if it merits consideration, it could come before the board. If you want to, and that to me is implied anyhow.
I'll make a motion that we put the cap at 120 donated hours per year.
So, and just so I have a motion. I just want to make sure we get the wording. So an employee may use we're going to add this back to it. An employee may use no more than 120 hours of donated sick leave within a calendar year. Okay?
Second.
And I have a second for that. Is there any other discussion? Like I said, there's nothing else has changed. It's just a kind of a way to manage that a little bit better.
How much sick time can they get before they get donated time? How much sick leave will they have before they would need the donated time?
Yeah.
It's on tenure.
They earn based
That's
on,
what I'm asking. I'm just
right,
wondering.
so as a new employee, they start out at 6 hours. Is it 8 per pay period? And then goes to 10, and then goes to 12.
Not sick leave. Sick leave
I thought he
remains
was
at
asking
8.
about sick leave.
I'm asking about sick leave.
Sick leave remains at 8. Vacation goes up in increments.
8 is graduated, there you go. So it's an 8-hour day.
And is there a cap on how much you can accumulate of sick leave?
Right now, there is not.
No.
There's not?
There is not.
What was that, 240 hours?
That's vacation.
We need to address that.
Right, it's vacation time.
But we need to address sick leave then.
Can we put that on the agenda for later? We can't address that now.
No, absolutely, I mean, if you want to do it, I'd make it a separate item if you're going to do something like that, but, that absolutely.
Because we can't afford a shocker like that.
We, had a county employee leave the county this week with 500 hours.
Now, the sick leave, you can't take that with you.
Right, now, well,
Vacation.
exactly, this was, well,
The sick leave.
no, and I
is
misspoke,
for
I'm sorry, I
retirement.
misspoke, that had to do with, and I'm muddying the water here, that had to do, you're right, that had to do with comp time, so.
So we don't have to worry about sick times. You can't sick leave.
Sick, no, you can.
But you carry it over.
You can, under this right here, you can, if, before you submit a resignation, you can, donate the balance of your time, if there's a requirement for it. We don't have a sick leave bank anymore. That doesn't exist. But you
Like we
can,
need to talk about comp time too.
well, that's something that is, yeah, it's written such that if, an employee earns more than 40 hours in a work week, they're afforded overtime. And if they choose not to be paid that, then they get comp time
At time and a half.
at time and a half.
Which is federal law.
But at that point, it is the county's discretion. The county has the option to either pay or to require that to be used as comp time. Except when they retire or separate, and that time is paid out.
How does a person get 500 hours? It was in the sheriff's department, quite honestly, and I don't know, I just know that was the amount that was out there. You know, I work for the private sector. Boy, it's a lot different between working for the government.
Mhm.
We had rules that we went by and we went by. You didn't accumulate nothing, you didn't take it by the end of the year. That was in that budget.
Right.
You didn't carry it over in somebody else's budget. I think
And
all this needs to be addressed fully.
and that's very similar to the way the military works, we have use or lose. And I can share this with you too, though, that as far as comp time right now, from all non-constitutional officers, we require that be approved in advance. You can't just work and accumulate that, it has to be approved. So, and we've gotten away from approving a lot of comp time.
Sick leave accumulation, it is pretty, I think Teresa can attest, it's true in schools too. It's the same rule, you don't get paid out, but you can apply it towards your retirement, so that you're not sick and you've worked there a long time, you can retire several months
You
early.
didn't do that yellow flag.
Yeah.
You didn't use that sick time by December 31st, it's gone.
Don't get sick.
So, all right, so right now I have a motion and a second to amend our, the use of, donated sick leave time to include the language, an employee may use no more than 120 hours of donated sick leave within a calendar year. I've lost my place. Was it Teresa?
Good place to start.
Commissioner Bettis?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
I always go by ladies first. Oh, and one of the things before we get too far away from him, he said, "Well, Lord." When we do budgets, we do, I guess, 40-hour weeks for these people.
Right. Well,
Don't that destroy us if somebody gets, comp time and don't use it in the week they get it in.
Yeah, they accumulate it, and it does, you know, it's still time
As
off.
far as the budget,
Right. It is a true statement that it is impossible to budget comp time.
but can't you make them take it off? Like if you get an hour today, take it off tomorrow?
If we'll put that in our policy, we
Well,
can, yeah.
it's getting where we talk about it.
Yeah. And last year, like as I said, when I first came in office, we looked at a lot of these things and did remove some things. Unfortunately, this got removed totally, inadvertently, because I didn't realize that the unintended consequence was that the county had no way to go pay somebody to work in somebody else's absence. And we need to be able to do that. There's some services we'll have to be able to do that, So that's taken care of, though, with your vote here, but we will come back if the board desires to discuss those other items.
What about anybody else that desires?
Yeah. No, we'll definitely do that, though. Next item is roads update. No?
Talk down.
Okay. We put a pipe in over on Peacock and Russell Lane, and we'll be hauling dirt to that road, as well as Wagner's Grove, Church Road, trying to level those off and take care of some long-standing issues with those two roads. Anything else on those?
I got a call from Jason, he's got all his right of ways except two now.
Oh, really?
He's gonna work on them.
Good. That's on Hope Drive, right? Yeah. All right, urgent matters. Statements and remarks from citizens on anything. Motion to adjourn? Have a motion? Second. Commissioner Putnam?
Yes.
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 All right. Thank you all.